If your team runs cloud workloads, AI services, developer pipelines, or internet-facing infrastructure, today's security question is simple: which patch changes your blast radius first? This is Daily Tech Hack Global for August 1, 2026. The facts in this briefing come from NBD, CISA when reachable, and linked vendor advisories. I will keep the discussion defensive: no exploit commands, no payloads, and no step-by-step attack chains. The lead item is CVE-2026-67208. NBD describes it as, Juggle through 1.6.0 contains a remote code execution vulnerability that allows unauthenticated remote attackers to execute arbitrary OS commands by connecting to the exposed H2 database web console using default shipped credentials. Attackers can access the unprotected /H2 console endpoint, authenticate with default credentials, and leverage the H2 create alias runtime.exec technique to execute arbitrary commands, resulting in root-level code execution when running the stock Docker image. The recorded severity is critical with CVSS 9.8. Why it matters: prioritize by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. The second item is CVE-2026-68770. NBD summarizes it as, Sentence Transformers contains a security control bypass vulnerability that allows attackers to achieve arbitrary code execution by exploiting a logic flaw in the import_module_class helper within sentence_transformers/shuttle/miscellaneous py, where the guard condition includes an or os.path.exists, model_name_or_path, clause that satisfies the trust gate whenever the supplied path exists on the local file system, regardless of the trust_mode_code equals false argument. Severity is critical with CVSS 9.8. The operational takeaway is to map this advisory to exposed systems, service credentials, and any automation that can turn a small weakness into a larger incident. Item 3 is CVE-2026-68771. Comfy UI version 0.23.0 contains an unsafe deserialization vulnerability in the load training dataset node that allows unauthenticated remote attackers to execute arbitrary Python code by uploading a crafted pickle file and triggering its deserialization. Attackers can upload a malicious shard_star.pkl file via the unauthenticated post/upload/image endpoint and then queue a workflow graph via post/prompt referencing the upload. Severity, critical, CVSS 9.8. Defensive context, prioritize by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. Item 4 is CVE 2026-4978. Improper neutralization of special elements used in an SQL command, SQL injection, vulnerability in UMAI Vision Traffic Analysis System allows SQL injection. This issue affects Traffic Analysis System, from 30 before 34. Severity, critical, CVSS 9.8. Defensive context, prioritize by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. Here is the defender checklist. First, identify whether any affected product is internet-facing, reachable from CI systems, or reachable by AI agents and automation. Second, patch according to the vendor advisory, not just the headline score. Third, review service accounts, API keys, pod identities, OAuth apps, and tool credentials that could be reused if the affected system was compromised. Fourth, add monitoring around unusual admin actions, image pulls, tool calls, authentication failures, and outbound network requests. Fifth, document what was patched and what was deferred so tomorrow's team can audit the risk instead of rediscovering it. The larger lesson is that AI security is not only prompt security. It is the security of runtimes, cloud services, tool connectors, identity boundaries, and the operational process that decides what gets patched first. Patch what is exposed, reduce what is privileged, rotate what may have leaked, and make automation prove what it is allowed to touch.